The sky changed one quiet morning, not with storms or fire, but with silence. A massive fleet of silver ships appeared above Earth's major cities. No attack, no demand, just stillness. People watched in shock as the aliens made their first broadcast. They called themselves the Varix Collective, tall, calm, and dressed in glowing robes. They spoke in perfect human languages. "We come in peace," said their leader. "We are here to protect you." Government scrambled. Scientists argued. But soon everyone had the same question: why? Now, the Varix gave answers that sounded like riddles. They had been watching Earth for centuries. They claimed humans were special, unique in the galaxy. They offered new technology, clean energy, and safety from an ancient cosmic threat. But when asked what that threat was, they smiled and said nothing. Weeks passed, cities changed, diseases were cured, wars stopped. Life became better, almost to good. Still, no one knew what the Varix were hiding. Then, during a closed-door meeting, someone finally asked the question. No one else dared. "You keep saying you're protecting us, but from who?" Silence filled the room. One Varix leader stood still for a long time. Then, without emotion, he replied, "We hoped you wouldn't ask that." Lights flickered. The air grew cold, and for the first time since they arrived, people began to wonder, were the Varix really here to help? Or were they hiding something far worse? The Varix left quickly after the meeting. No goodbye, no explanation, just silence. Back on Earth, rumors began to spread. People watched the footage, over and over. Why did they freeze when asked that question? What are they hiding? Scientists tried to dig deeper. They looked into old files, secret meetings, and hidden messages. Then one hacker found something strange. A file labeled Project Silence, buried deep inside a Varix data drive. Inside were no plans for peace, no maps of space, only warnings. One line stood out. If they ask, do not answer. More questions rose than answers. Why would protectors have secrets? And why did they seem afraid? Then came the leak. A short video clip showed a Varix soldier speaking in a dark room. His voice was low. "If they find out, we'll all be erased." People panicked. Some believed the Varix were lying about being peaceful. Others thought they were hiding from a powerful enemy. But then, something worse appeared. Someone found a signal being sent from Earth straight into deep space. The destination? Unknown. And the message? They know. Begin Phase 1. No one knew what Phase 1 meant, but one thing was clear. The Varix had not come to save Earth, just yet. They had come to stop it from speaking too soon. The signal sent into space was old, very old. It had been buried in Varix systems for centuries, waiting to be used, but now it was active. Deep space telescopes picked up a response, not from any known planet, but from a dead star system far beyond the Milky Way. Human scientists and Varix leaders gathered in secret. The message they received was chilling. They remember, we are coming. No one knew who they were. But the Varix did not look surprised. Under pressure, the Varix finally agreed to show humanity something they had hidden for years. A record of an ancient war. It began with images. Planets burning, ships broken, skies filled with monsters, made of metal and fire. A voice played over the video. "This is what happens when they wake." Then came words that made no sense at first. "We were once like you, curious, brave, hopeful." One image stood out, a creature that looked almost human but twisted. Its eyes glowed red. Its voice whispered in many languages at once, and then it said, "We are the end, and we are awake." The screen went black. Everyone in the room was silent. Finally, a Varix leader turned and said, "Now you understand why we hoped you would never ask. Who we were protecting you from." The room was silent after the video ended. No one spoke. No one moved. Then a scientist broke the silence. "That creature. It looked like us." The Varix did not answer at first. One of them stepped forward and placed a small crystal on the table. A beam of light shot up, forming a 3D image, a DNA strand. But it wasn't just any DNA. It was human. And Varix side by side. And they were almost identical. A Varix leader finally spoke. "We are not aliens. We are you, or what you could become." Shocked gasps filled the room. The Varex explained that they were not from another world, they were from another time. Time travelers from a future Earth, long gone. They had once been humans, just like us. But something went wrong. Power grew too fast. Science went too far. And one group tried to change the laws of nature itself. They became something new, something dangerous. "We lost control," said the Varex, "and we nearly destroyed everything." That's when the war began. Not against aliens, but against their own kind. They traveled back through time, trying to stop it from ever happening. And now, history might be repeating. One human whispered, "You're not here to protect us." From aliens, "You're here to stop us from becoming you." The silence after the Varex's shocking truth didn't last long. A new alert flashed across Earth's space stations. Unknown signal detected. Origin, the moon. It wasn't from Earth or Mars or any known human colony. This signal was old, buried beneath layers of lunar rock, hidden for centuries. The Varex turned pale when they saw the source. "It's waking up," one of them whispered. A joint mission was launched, humans and Varex together. A small team landed on the far side of the moon, where no eye had ever seen. There, under miles of dust and ice, they found it. A massive structure, not made by humans, not even by the Varex. It was ancient, towering, silent, and it was covered in symbols, glowing, pulsing, alive. One scientist stepped forward and touched the wall. A deep hum filled the air. Then, suddenly, the ground shook. A hidden door opened, revealing a dark chamber. Inside were strange machines, frozen bodies, and a single message carved into the wall. "If you open this, do not wake what lies beyond." But it was too late. Back on Earth, all screens flickered. Every language at once played from every speaker. Rebirth begins. And deep inside the vault, something began to move. The vault door groaned as it slid open fully for the first time. In thousands of years, inside, the air was cold, not from temperature, but from something deeper, something wrong. The team stepped in carefully, lights shaking in their hands. Rows of frozen figures stood like statues, tall, thin, and half metal. One Varex whispered, "We are too late." A scientist tried to scan one of the bodies. As the light touched it, the eyes flew open, glowing red, lifeless, but aware. Then the voice came again, louder now. "Rebirth begins." Suddenly, the machines around them sparked to life. Lights blinked, gears turned, and deep within the chamber, a large circular gate began to spin. Symbols lit up along its edge, ancient, unknown, terrifying. Back on Earth, the message spread. Across every screen, every speaker, every language, they are waking. On the moon, the gate gave one final hum, then opened. Darkness poured out, not just the absence of light, but something alive. The creatures inside the chamber began to move, not walking, not flying, but appearing. One moment, they were still. The next, they were standing behind the team, and they spoke in broken voices, in many human languages at once. "We are the future, you are the past." Then, the lights went out, and the screams began. The signal didn't stop at Earth from the moon. It shot into deep space like a pulse through the stars. And across the galaxy, other worlds began to light up one by one. At first, scientists thought it was a glitch. Then came the videos. A planet near the edge of the Milky Way showed massive lights in the sky. Another world, silent for centuries, sent out a single word: "They have returned." Across the galaxy, alien civilizations reacted. Some cheered, some wept. Others armed themselves. Then came the visitors. Ships arrived from unknown systems. Some were peaceful, offering help, knowledge, warnings. Others were not. A new species landed on Earth, tall, cloaked in black armor, their voices like thunder. They called themselves the Silencers. And they had one message: "This world has spoken too soon. It must be silenced." Cities went into lockdown. The Varex tried to negotiate, but the Silencers would not listen. "You knew what would happen," one said. "Now you must pay." Back in space, more ships appeared, some attacking, some defending. A war was beginning. Earth stood at its center as the skies darkened with alien ships. One human looked up and whispered, "We just asked who they were protecting us from. Now the whole galaxy is watching." Earth was under pressure like never before. The skies were filled with alien ships, some protecting, most threatening. The silencers had arrived with a mission: erase Earth before the rebirth could begin. But for the first time since the Variks arrived, humanity did something unexpected. They stood their ground. A secret team of scientists, hackers, soldiers, and even AI volunteers came together. They called themselves Project Echo, using stolen Variks tech and old human war machines. They built something new, a weapon no alien had ever seen, a gun powered by human emotion. It didn't fire bullets. It fired memories, fears, hopes, things machines couldn't predict. The first test was shocking. A young soldier aimed at a silencer drone and pulled the trigger. A wave of pure emotion exploded forward. The drone froze, twisted in the air, then shattered into dust. But there was a cost. Every time someone used the weapon, it took something from them: memories, feelings, pieces of who they were. Still, people volunteered. Teenagers, teachers, soldiers, even AI pilots joined the fight. One girl, barely 16, stood in front of a massive silencer ship and said, "You think we're not ready? Maybe not, but we're not going down without a fight." She fired, and the sky lit up. The battle was not going well. Cities burned. Skies darkened. Alien ships circled like vultures. The Variks tried to help, but even they were overwhelmed. They had seen this before, long ago. In their own time, they knew how it ended, unless something changed. Back at Earth's last safe base, a group of humans and Variks gathered around a glowing console. On the screen was a plan, one last chance, a weapon unlike any other. It could destroy everything: the enemy, the machines, even the rebirth itself. But it would also erase all knowledge of the Variks, the war, and maybe even parts of human history. One scientist asked, "If we use it, will we even remember who we are?" A Variks leader looked around the room. "That is the cost." Some wanted to use it immediately, others refused. "We've come too far," said one soldier. "We can't just forget everything." But then came a message from space. A silencer ship had landed, and it carried only one word: surrender, or join the rebirth. The choice was clear: fight and risk total destruction, or change everything forever. A young girl stepped forward, the same one who had fired the emotion gun. She looked at the button. Then she whispered, "Maybe we're not saving humanity. Maybe we're killing it." And she prepared to make the hardest choice in human history. The button was small, red, final dot behind her. Earth burned. Above her, war raged in the skies. Around her, silence fell as everyone waited. One breath, one choice. She pressed it. A flash brighter than the sun exploded outward. It didn't destroy, it didn't kill. It rewrote across the planet. Alien tech vanished. Memories faded. Ships disappeared. The rebirth stopped before it could begin. And then, silence, darkness, darkness, then light. A child opened her eyes. She lay in a field of soft grass. Birds chirped. The sky was blue. No ships, no war, no fear. Around her were others, confused, blinking, waking up like from a dream. A voice came from nowhere. "You survived. Now, let's begin again." Far above, deep in space, something watched. Not a god, not a monster. Just a quiet signal, sent once more into the stars. Rebirth begins, but this time, maybe it could be different.